October 8th, 2016. Yesterday my rock dusts came in. People are always asking me on the Hudson Valley Farmers and Gardeners net and on the forum and in person, what's the best thing I could be putting down in my soil this fall to improve my crop health and crop yields and fertility next year? And the thing I always tell them, the Brix blend from rockdustlocal.com. 40 pounds of the basalt and 35 pounds or 25 pounds of the ruby granite. This stuff is amazing. This is how you improve Brix ratings on your plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these boxes up and I'll show you what these rock dusts look like. Both of these rock dusts, both of these shipped $75. It's really cheap considering what it is and what it does and the phenomenal effect it has on plant health, essential oil production, crop yield, soil fertility, down the list of positives with no net negatives like when you're using pesticides or chemical fertilizers. Anyway, I'll open these up and we'll go into this a little more. Okay, so here we are. I've opened both of the rock dust packages up. This is the Ruby Mountain True Stone Flower Gradation. If you take a close look, I'll try and get a screenshot of this, or maybe I can find a PDF on it or something and share it in the video. But if you look closely here on the geochemical analysis down here, right by my thumb, you'll notice that there's silicon oxide, aluminum oxide, iron oxide, magnesium, calcium oxide, sodium oxide, potassium oxide, and TiO2, I think is tritium. And anyway, it's loaded with trace minerals, and those trace minerals really enhance plant health in an incredible way. And I want you to take a look at just how fine this rock dust is. This can be used in foliar feeds. You can mix this in with water. And if you look how fine that is, I'll try and get you, yeah, there you go. You can really get an idea of just how fine that stuff is. All right, so you can foliar feed this by adding it to like to a watering can. You add like a teaspoon to the watering can, shake it up good. When you put it over your plants, it's getting onto the plant leaf surfaces, right? And there's actually bacteria and fungi that are on the plant leaf surfaces. They can actually help the plant grow and help the plant absorb nutrients directly through its leaves, and that's a huge improvement in plant growth. You can improve photosynthesis, and anytime you improve photosynthesis, you're improving energy production for the plant. Anytime you can improve energy production for the plant, obviously you can get a better yield response and better productivity. Alright, so you also can put this in the soil. I like to do both soil and foliar feeds with it. And let's see, this is the basalt. You'll notice this also has quite a spectrum of different types of minerals and materials in it. I will try to get you a more detailed analysis, because there's a lot more in it than just what you're seeing here on the sheet. In any case, you'll notice this isn't quite as fine, so this usually isn't used in foliar feeds, although it can be. It's a little more coarse. It's better to just add it into your soil and let it mix in. And the bacteria and fungi in the soil will take that and break that down and make that more available. Just to give you kind of an example of something that you've probably seen many times in your life and never really recognized. If you look at some of the old rocks around here, particularly in the Catskill Mountains, for example, you'll see fungi that are growing on the rocks, and I'm sure you've seen them on the trees as well. Those fungi are actually eating the rock and turning it into nutrition for themselves. Now when they do that in the soil, that nutrition then becomes available for the plants as the fungal community dies off, or sometimes even directly from its mycelial web. Anyway, I just wanted to go over a little bit about rock dust and explain to you some of the basics. So these also, rock dust and any kind of a mineral amendment has much greater effect when it's combined with a form of biology. So I actually will be taking a little bit of this rock dust and mixing it in with my chicken feed, and that way my chickens will have access to those trace minerals also, and when they go to the bathroom and their manure comes out, that manure will have a trace mineral component in it also, and that will greatly amplify the effect of both the manure and of the trace mineral that is in it. This could also be done in ruminant animals, cattle. It's a great way to do it, and you can actually line your barn beds with it as well, along with your wood chips and stuff, and that way when those go out to the soil, the rock dust has already been kind of activated by biology, and it's much more readily available to your plants. So tonight I'm going to go through and I'm going to rock dust everything in this greenhouse, and I know in about a week or two you will see a tremendous difference, if not sooner, in the health and quality of these plants, and you'll be able to visibly see that just on camera. So I'm going to go through and let you get a look at these plants right now. And you can see they're perking back up from the compost teas and stuff I've been giving them, but they're definitely not at optimal health right now. And I haven't been doing my foliar feeds all summer. I didn't have the budget for it this year, so they've kind of been deprived when it comes to nutrition. But we'll let you get a close look at all these plants quick while we're in here. You can see there's quite a response coming back since I've transplanted these, but you will see a big difference when you see these in future videos in the next couple weeks. You'll really start to get an idea of how much of an effect that stuff has on these plants. Also, my almond verbena and my lemon verbena are both in flower right now, and I wish I could capture that smell in a bottle and share it with you, because it is the sweetest, most awesome smell. It's just amazing. That's the almond verbena, and this is the lemon verbena. Sorry, I just have to get a huff of it. See how dainty those flowers are. Alright, so anyway, you can see the state of health of these plants definitely has room for improvement, visibly so. But you can see they are starting to respond to the compost teas that I've given them. There's new growth coming on here, and they're, oh wow, that's sticky. And they're starting to really, get their health back. But these rock dusts are going to make a tremendous difference. You'll also notice after the rock dust starts to kick in, that plants take on this kind of more of a blue-green hue. It's a much bluer color. It's a really beautiful color to see, and it's very obvious, like on a plot that you've rock dusted out in a field. You can see the line where the rock dust stops just by the color and the vigor of the vegetation as you scan across. Anyway, that's it for now on that. I do want to just show you the beans are coming along. They're popping their cotyledon leaves now, and the corn is coming along. Let's see if I can get you in on it. And I got something in here that's dug up a couple of my corn plants, which I'm not happy about. So I'll have to find out what's doing that. I suspect that might be a bird. I've seen birds do that before. Anyway, so we'll go on and give you some more information on rock dust over time here. But I just want to give you kind of an introduction of what you get, and when you realize how little of this you need to get a really awesome response, you realize that like the cost per pound is like minimal. And you know, I know it would seem like it's crazy to ship rock around, and as we're thinking more and more about closing fertility loops and sustainability, that seems less and less of a good idea from a transportation standpoint, from a fossil fuel standpoint. But the reality is that very little bit of these dusts applied to your soil can greatly improve fertility, nutrition, and actually help you kind of close the loop, because you're not reliant on all sorts of other external fertilizers, including chemical fertilizers. And you certainly, once you get your bricks level up in your plants, you're not reliant on pesticides at all, because you don't need pesticides to fight fungal infections and insects, because you get your plants balanced correctly, and then they become naturally disease and pest resistant. I mean, the reality is that insects are nature's garbage collectors, and fungi are her cleanup crew. Insects go in and eat unhealthy plants, and the fungi come along and eat what's left, and they clean up that mess. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something from it, and thanks for watching the Farmacy Seeds Network.